The Full Melt Show is intended for a mature audience. It contains adult themes, adult content, and sometimes adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
Full Melt.
Yeah, Tuesday night the Metro Council gave a real historic vote for a form of marijuana decriminalization. This was a final reading, so its final approval was then later signed into law by Mayor Megan Barry. It would not be a universal form of decriminalization. It's certainly not legalization of marijuana. Basically, if somebody is caught with what's considered a small amount of marijuana, 1/2 ounce or less, police would now have discretion to give a civil penalty, which could be like a $50 fine or community service instead of what would normally have been a Class A misdemeanor, which could have been up to a year in jail. So it's still kind of unclear how this is going to work, what kind of impact it's going to have. I've heard some people who say, well, this is really just kind of a thing for media to talk about, et cetera, and it isn't going to actually have the punch. So we'll see, where it goes. But one thing that also could happen here is in a couple of months, the state legislature might take up action. There's a state lawmaker, William Lambert from Sumner County, who's talked about legislation that would penalize Nashville and also Memphis, which is considering another bill similar to Nashville's for taking up and passing a law on this matter. So we'll see whether he actually falls through. He's threatened state highway funding for Nashville based on this and might propose a bill. So really, it was a historic action in the sense that it was the first time that Nashville's ever passed a bill on marijuana that could give anyone the option of a lesser penalty. But really how this plays out, we're going to be watching and monitoring as we go forward.
It's the Full Melt Show.
Are you high? What are you talking about?
It's the Full Melt Show, a marijuana discussion about news, culture, and entertainment. It's celebrity interviews, talks with politicos. Plus, your calls are on the air. Download the Full Melt app, free at the Apple and Android app stores. The Full Melt Show.
All right, welcome to the show for what is becoming a Thursday here in Michigan, fabulous Michigan. We are live on top of Marijuana Mountain somewhere in the heart of Michigan. Broadcasting here the fate of the nation as it spills forth and changes in the marijuana world. Cannabis, news, entertainment, culture, lifestyle. If you want to find out what's going on, if you want to find the pulse of the nation, if you want the news and information in this space, you've come to the right place. I'm Steve Green, your host, and welcome. What is going on today? I'll tell you what. There has never been a time, I've said this before, but it keeps becoming more true as time marches on, that there has never been a time where there is more to talk about in this place, cannabis news, in the history of either this show or really probably my or your lifetimes. When this show was in its infancy, when it was just a wee lad, blew out my own lighter. I am smoking a cigarette, which I shouldn't be doing, but I'm doing anyways. Oh, don't be dinging me during the show. What is wrong with you people? Turning it off. I can't hear a word. All right. So, the stuff that's going on here, is vast and wide. There is so much change happening across the nation, we couldn't imagine squeezing all of it into this tiny show. Even though we do it every day, there's no way we could keep up with all of it. We could skim over just the basics of it, but I like to give you a better insight into what's going on. I like to try and bring you guests, people in the know from where this is happening. And if you listen to the piece at the beginning of the show, you're familiar with the idea that Nashville and also Memphis, Tennessee, have passed decrim ordinances that the state attorney general has now issued an opinion saying are unenforceable. These are decrim ordinances saying that if you got half an ounce of marijuana or less, or it's a small amount of marijuana, that it would give the police the discrimination to write you a civil infraction for a fine of $50, and you go on your way. And many, this is just the latest couple of cities jumping on the bandwagon of decriminalization because they realize that chasing around pot in their own cities is a waste of both city resources and time. You're accomplishing nothing. You're spending as much as you're taking in, and nothing is changing. And rather than spending your time and efforts on fighting crime, you're just busting a bunch of people with something in their pockets. So it's interesting that these guys are having that argument, but these guys aren't the only ones having arguments like this. I mean, as we speak, there is a marijuana convention going on where all of my friends are from Michigan and many other places, I might add. Not all of them, but many of them. Happening in Las Vegas, Nevada. They're over there planning all the next big industry happening in the marketplace of marijuana. And just a hop, skip, and a jump away, right over the state's border there into California, another controversy has unfolded. That controversy is the idea that they left out a little loop-de-loo there in the law when they wrote it. And so the amount of tax revenue coming in may not be what they expected it should be. It just might not be the amount of revenue they thought was coming on in. Because if you, holy cow, there is a cavalcade coming into the studio. Is this ice cream for me? I'm just making sure because I ordered ice cream. I was promised ice cream. It's not ice cream. Damn it. So the whole thing with California, it follows the line of thought with Washington and Oregon. In these places, you had also Colorado for that matter, except Colorado handled it differently. But in Washington and Oregon, when they passed retail marijuana, when they passed adult legal retail use, they shut down the medical system. And the reason is because the medical system was going to cause a tax problem. If they just left the medical system open, the lower priced cannabis going to the people in the medical system because they're patients and they're using it as medicine. It's just not something they're just playing with. What ended up happening is if they just left it open, all the money would go into the medical market. People would have a way to easy access to the medical market for the most part. The number of people who wouldn't do it wouldn't make up for the amount of tax revenue being lost by the ones who are going through the hoops necessary to get a medical card. And then they would avoid all the taxation left open on the retail side. So legislators there said, oh, no, we got to shut down the medical system because if we don't, the retail system won't work. We're not going to bring in the revenue. And look, let's face it, that revenue is the only chip on the table. It's the only bargaining chip for the most part that the state's got to argue about. Right, the big carrot and stick that the marijuana people dangled in front of state legislatures and authorities in local municipalities was the idea that this is revenue. This is a cash-strapped nation. We are a cash-strapped city and a cash-strapped. Say it fast, real 5 times. In a cash-strapped county or parish, and in a cash-strapped state. Also in a cash-strapped nation. Nobody wants to raise any money, but we've got a new bag of money coming in. It's all unearmarked. It's unbridled taxation. And a large amount. It's all coming in, but it's not going to come in if we leave the medical system open. So Oregon and Washington State both shut down their medical systems to let the adult system, the adult retail regulated system flourish. And this came at the argument, the foot-dragging argument of many medical people, including me. Because I don't think it's fair that the people that they used as basically poster children when they went dragging the people in canes and wheelchairs and walkers into legislatures across the country, arguing that these people needed marijuana for medicine, and they did. But then to throw them under the bus when it came time for the rest of the nation to grab hold of what those people had in a recreational way. So I'm one of the people that's in that camp that I don't think the medical system should disappear, or that the benefits entitled or afforded to the medical people who opened this doorway in the first place should go away because the retail cannabis market wants to grab hold. I'm not in opposition to the retail market, but they need to find a way better than handling it than this. That being said, California has a very similar problem, which I guess we'll talk about coming up after the break. Incidentally, if you want to chime in on our conversation today, the phone lines are open and working. 248-278-8067. 248-278-8067. And we'll talk about what's happening in your city or town, whether it's here in Michigan, where the show originates from, or whether you're in Tennessee with the decrim, you're in Florida trying to figure out the separation between the old marketplace with the stupid CBD oil that you could never get out there. They never found a real solution for. That the people over at the people that make it just Charlotte's Web, the Stanley brothers, infiltrated that whole thing, and we're supposed to be the only supplier. I don't know. That's all been changed now with this new change in Florida law. If you're wondering what's going on there, we'll talk about what's happening there. If you're in, Maine, Maine's got it going on. Moratoriums popping up everywhere. New York is bracing because it believes that it's going to get an influx of pot from the people in lovely Maine. Batten down the hatches, gang, because changes are a-coming. Changes are a-coming, and I warned you that this tsunami was going to hit with reckless abandon, and nobody paid attention. Well, I don't know about nobody. This marijuana tsunami is going to come like a tidal wave and crush people. It's going to crush people, I'm telling you. If you're growing here in Michigan or in other places, let's say you're in one of these states that's got the medical laws now, watch out. Hold on to your heinies, because as adult retail use marches across this nation, and it's going to continue to do that in the next couple of election cycles, maybe not as big as this last one, but we got lots to talk about on the legal front with medical cannabis and retail use.
You're getting the full melt.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hempwell drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet. With superior taste, smell, and nutrition, we hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell, hemp health for pets.
If you missed the last Full Melt show,
You missed a lot.
Yes, sir. We are just here to get you qualified, okay, for the lower interest rates.
this is a Visa card.
Okay, it's a Visa card, starts with 4, right?
So why do you need the numbers off the card?
I was going to let you know, like, what is your new interest rate going to be and what you qualified for, okay?
Well, wouldn't it be a security risk if I was to give my card number over the phone?
Like, sure, we are the ones who send you the billing statement every month.
Aren't you really just a liar? Aren't you just lying about this? Aren't you just trying to steal my credit card number? Oh, you are, you little piece of shit. You're a little fucking liar, aren't you? You're a little foreign piece of shit, aren't you? You're a little foreign fucking puke, aren't you?
That's what you are, fucking piece of shit.
Oh no! You get to suck my fucking. You get to suck my fucking American dick, you foreign piece of fucking shit. There you go. That's how you do that.
Imagine a world where patients can use marijuana like any other medicine. The Marijuana Patients Organization challenges the status quo by helping our neighbors to enjoy a better quality of life. Visit the MPO at marijuanapatients.org and enjoy informative articles, engaging debates, and information about treatments, doctors, and dispensaries in your area. Over 50,000 people have registered at marijuanapatients.org since 2010. Join us at the Marijuana Patients Organization today, marijuanapatients.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
Wish your skin could bounce back like it used to? Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel instantly quenches skin to keep it supple and hydrated day after day. With hydrating hyaluronic acid, which retains up to 1,000 times its weight in water. This refreshing water gel plumps skin cells with intense hydration and locks it in. For supple, hydrated skin that bounces back. Hydro Boost from Neutrogena. See what's possible.
And now, a Planet Green Trees flashback.
That is the paradox. Like you can't make this, the civil employees rebut the presumption, right? The state just gave $8.5 million to this administrative agency to implement. I mean, the concept there is a little offset.
The police are still seem to be involved in it.
Nothing takes incentives away from police. In fact, it gives them more fish to shoot in the barrel.
Right.
The police are literally the regulatory agency for the entire program.
And why is that?
They needed their cut.
They're the only ones knowledgeable and responsible enough to handle it. This major public health and safety issue.
Don't miss the Planet Green Trees show, Thursdays at 8 Eastern on Spreaker. It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Got another girl. He might be fucking her right now. I don't have an apartment. Thought if I was smart I'd make it far, but
so here we go. This song is crazy, by the way. I found this today. She's a dirty girl. Oh, she's so dirty. It is 7:20 here Eastern Time on the Full Melt Show. It is time to crack into this thing about California. Wendy, just call the 248 number. Forget the Skype. There's no time to set up the Skype right now. We're in the middle of the show. Just call the number with your regular phone. I thought we made that clear before I was getting on the air. Well, I think Wendy's trying to call. So, I'm going to text her. I don't know what makes people think that I can work this kind of stuff out while I'm on the air. Nobody stops to think, well, he's not looking at the phone. He's not looking at a bunch of other stuff. He's working on the radio, for crying out loud. What's so difficult for people? I don't get why people don't understand that. I can just communicate in other ways while I'm talking on the radio. There's a phone, and the number is, if you want to talk to me, it's 248-278-8067. 248-278-8067. Call that number, and then that way we can talk. This is ridiculous. Drives me insane. No more will I be texting anyone. When Wendy calls, I'm going to tell her that. No texting me while I'm on the air. Don't try and talk to me via text while I'm talking on the mic, for crying out loud. It's so horrible. Everybody and their brother wants to call me or text me while I'm on this show. This phone could not ring once the entire day. The moment I crack this mic, that thing's going off the hook. Drives me nuts. So, it doesn't go to voicemail. Oh, good Lord. 248-278-8067. That's the number. I'm going to try calling the thing myself. See if it goes to voicemail. Because it shouldn't be doing that. If it is, something's screwy in Screwtown. That's all I got to say about that. Where's the phone number here? 248-278-80. Oh, crap. What happened here? No. 278-8067. There we go. See if it just dials through.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number.
You know, I didn't dial it right. Stupid thing. Fat fingers and little buttons. 248-278-8067. There we go. Try it this time. Should ring. It's ringing. It rings. I don't know what I looked up. It's ringing. Idiots. Okay, I hung up. Take the call. It's probably my own call. Yeah, it's my own call because I hung up. This isn't rocket science, folks. Oh, I'm going to lambaste on the phone. When it rings, I'm going to let loose. Cutting loose on the phone tonight. All right. So let's just figure out the California question, shall we? Because I am tired of getting sidelined by listeners. They'll do it to you, too. They'll take you down a path you're not trying to go down. All right. So California. Let me just pull this story up. This is in the Denver Post today. Analysis, this blunder on California marijuana Prop 64 could cost the state millions. Millions! This was posted today by Keith Humphrey, a special to the Washington Post. So this was actually a Washington Post story republished in the Denver Post. Benjamin Franklin said that tax is like death or one of life's few certainties. But due to a glitch in the technical language of California's successful marijuana legislation initiative, the state's pot smokers may prove him wrong. California's marijuana legalization initiative is designed to raise significant tax revenue for the state. When legal recreational marijuana sales commence on January 1st of 2018, the initiative applies a 15% excise tax on recreational and medicinal marijuana, as well as some taxes on medical products on marijuana producers based on the weight of each plant grown. The state's 7.5% sales tax is tacked on top of that for recreational marijuana, but the ballot proposition repeals that tax for medical marijuana. So the idea is to give medical marijuana users a tax break relative to the recreational users once the initiative's new taxes begin in 2018. But because the January 1st, 2018 target date was omitted in the relevant subsection of the 62-page initiative, the medical marijuana sales tax elimination instead became effective this week when the measure passed. As a result, tax-free medical marijuana sales will occur in California from now through the end of 2017. And with recreational sales not set to begin until 2018, tax-free medical sales leave California facing a disappointing near-term marijuana tax revenue picture. The creators of the initiative have stated publicly that providing a 14-month tax holiday for marijuana was not their intention, but the State Board of Equalization ruled otherwise. Tax revenue could continue to fall short of projections even after 2018 if new recreational users become regular customers in the tax-free medical market, where they would have entry and every incentive to stay. Why endure what economists call switching costs, finding a new dispensary and favored types of weed, for example, for the privilege of paying higher taxes in the recreational market come 2018? That's the question. We've seen what could happen in Washington state. The unwillingness of many recreational users to leave the lightly taxed, loosely regulated medical market so hampered the establishment of an implicitly recreational market that Washington state legislators shut the medical system down. Because the medical and recreational systems in California were both created by ballot initiative, the state's elected officials do not have the same option. Medical marijuana users must have state-issued patient ID cards to legally buy tax-free, and many users presumably will not endure the administrative hassle and $100 fee to obtain one. The ID requirement could therefore limit the bleeding from the state's coffers to millions, rather than tens of millions of dollars. Such an optimistic scenario depends on marijuana dispensary staff consistently checking whether customers have such a card and are therefore entitled to tax-free sales. The relevant historical record is not encouraging. Board of Equalization Chair Fiona Ma recently noted that about 2/3 of dispensaries have not been fully compliant with sales tax requirements up to now. The incentive for dispensaries would be to keep customers happy by letting the ID requirement slide, secure the knowledge that getting caught evading sales taxes is unlikely. Because the marijuana industry lacks access to banks, it generally works on a cash-only basis, making tax auditing by the state difficult. Close monitoring of tax compliance also costs the state money from its medical marijuana tax revenues, which are about to endure a lean year. There are precedents for ignoring legal provisions, but you get the idea. Whether voters are forgiving, as Ogilvy would likely depend on whether marijuana tax revenue declines steeply in 2017 and how rapidly it rises thereafter. But you see the problem out there. And not only this, you're seeing other problems in California. They're already erecting barriers, putting bans in place, establishing moratoriums for retail dispensaries in local communities, and they're doing it at a foolhardy pace. They're doing it because they're still on the old mantra. Oh, my kid's going to be in danger. There's going to be potheads standing on the street corner smoking weed. They already are. Nothing's changing there. But they're doing it. What they're doing in actuality is cutting their nose off to spite their face. Because what's happening is you're reducing economic opportunity in your community. You're still suffering what the rest of the nation has washed away as prohibitionist, old school networking. The expensive stuff, the cost burdensome stuff, the stuff that's wasting your city or township or municipality's resources. Flushing it down the drain to chasing around a bunch of people with a little bit of weed. And nothing more. Welcome to the Full Melt Show. Hello.
Hey, Steve, it's Wendy.
Wendy, how are you doing today?
Yeah.
Rock and roll.
I tried to do the Skype, but it wouldn't let me do the Skype tonight.
Well, you know, we're going to do the Skype. We're going to set it up before we go on the air, not afterwards.
I know. That's why I said I couldn't do it like right that second, but it wasn't letting me call in either. It was sending my calls right to voicemail somehow. I don't know, but here I am.
Well, yeah. So if you can't, so it wasn't letting you call from your phone?
Yeah.
You're saying it wasn't letting you call from your phone, or you were trying to call the?
It was just sending me right to voicemail.
I didn't have any problem. I dialed it once; it went right through.
It's weird. I don't know. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get. So, is it all right? Can you hear me this way?
I can't hear a word you're saying. What'd you say?
You can't hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Stop. Can you hear? Really, seriously. Don't play with me.
I can hear you. I think I can hear you.
Okay.
Unless it's not you, then I don't know.
Okay, well, I got to do one more adjustment, so continue talking amongst yourselves. I'll be there in a second.
I'm already done adjusting. I'm done adjusting for the day. No more adjustments on this end.
I'm not done adjusting.
All right, that's what I'm saying. I'm done. I'm finished. Finito with the adjustments for me. So, where are we at here? I got to figure out where we're at in the scheme of things. How much time do we have, Mr. Producer? I don't know. Let me look. I am the producer today. Because it seems like it's probably like we're getting ready to go to break. Let me just look it up. My mouse is not cooperating. I have a non-cooperative.
See, and my Bluetooth isn't ready, and the other expensive headset I have.
You're trying to work with a headset?
Well, it doesn't have a microphone on it, but it fits into my iPhone, like just perfect, and it makes my ears not get fatigued. But it doesn't have a microphone on it. It's just Bose thing or something.
Yeah, you need a headset with a mic on it.
And I do have that, and I even have a microphone stand. I have all that. I'm just not ready yet. So,
okay.
You know, it was a busy day with running errands, and I couldn't get into the studio in time. So I'm just trying to make do.
Making do?
Making do.
Making Mountain Dew? Because I'm after the Mountain Dew.
I think you mainline Mountain Dew.
I do. I've got an IV stand right here. It needs a changing.
Oh boy!
Snap to it. Somebody needs to change my
Well,
Mountain.
that's the thing about Mountain Dew. You can reuse the bottle when you're done.
All I do is you just take it like a what do they call those? Like an IV bag. You hang it upside down up in there, and you push the needle up in there, and it just goes right in.
Oh, well, you got to do what you got to do.
You have to pop an air hole in the top, though, or it won't drain down.
Right.
For those who are novices of mainlining Mountain Dew.
Right.
Don't mainline Mountain Dew. We're just joking. Don't.
So did we talk about cannabis tonight? Yeah. Did anyone talk about cannabis?
You're not even tuned in? What's wrong with you?
No, because I'm not ready. I'm just enough to just the fact that I effectuated a phone call was pretty dramatic for what I'm capable of this moment. So let's don't push it.
So you're gonna have to go when you go back and listen to the first half of the show. You'll catch all the stuff.
All right. Well, can you just give me like the Cliff Notes?
Hell no.
I can't do that. Oh no.
You got to tune in.
Okay, I'll just fly blind.
I'll just put the rest of the audience on hold while I just catch you up because you didn't.
That'd be great.
Jeez. So I'm talking about California.
Okay.
And their medical marijuana program there, and their retail cannabis program there. You know that there's a conundrum out there.
Well, yeah. Specifically, though, what were you referring to?
Well, what are you referring to? Because you said, what's their conundrum?
Well, I know they just passed their recreational. So I'm assuming that's going to be, as states do that, they always find a ways to make it more difficult than it needs to be, although out west they seem to be a little bit more lenient in some ways, not so crazy. But I would think that would be part of it.
Well, it is, but you've got to follow the history from Washington and Oregon. So in Washington...
Where they basically took away, the medical, and they just made them all one dispensary, like out in Washington now. Now they don't even have medical dispensaries.
Right. Do you know why they did that?
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I think I have an idea.
Well, why?
Well, because it's under one roof. It's under their equivalent of the liquor board or something like that.
No, they did it. We'll just cut to the chase because we only got a couple seconds before we hit break.
Okay, well, okay.
So
just tell me.
So the reason that they did away basically with medical marijuana and the entire medical marijuana distribution system is because it was going to compete with the success of the retail market and the tax revenue that the state is. That's the only real. I don't know, what do you want to call it? That's the only real weight that they have is the tax revenue. That's the only, I don't know, it's the only stake they have in the game, right? The state tax revenues, all that the state's going to get out of this, other than to have to implement this program and deal with a bunch of potheads in their cities. There's no...
So let's talk about it when the music's done. Let's come back and we'll talk about some more, and I'm going to get a better headset.
Are you leading the show now? Because I didn't know.
I'm just going to get a better set during the commercial.
All right, we're going to break. We'll be right back. I got to go. We'll be right back. Stand by.
Your pets aren't just animals, they're members of your family. That's why we are excitedly wagging our tail about our hemp-based product that caters specifically to your best friend. Hemp oil drops are great for aging as well as active dogs and cats, and really all kinds of pets. Hemp oil drops are made from virgin, cold-pressed organic hemp oil. Our extraction process ensures the highest quality oil for your pet. With superior taste, smell, and nutrition, we hold ourselves to the highest standards, never using heat, chemicals, or preservatives in making our hemp oil products for pets. Pick up a bottle of Hempwell drops today at select retailers or online at hempwell.com. Hempwell, hemp health for pets.
Attention. Get ready to write down a very important number.
Michael does not know how to fail. Second place is loser.
If you have a medical marijuana case and need legal representation, call the best, attorney Michael Comorn.
He's very passionate in the courtroom.
Getting the best outcome requires quick legal action, and it needs to start with one call, toll-free to attorney Michael Comorn. 800-656-3557. Write it down, 800-656-3557.
Michael Comorn gave us our life back.
Attorney Michael Comorn. Vigorous criminal defense.
Play-Doh Compound can help kids practice communication skills. Start by presenting the visual of the letter or word. Then ask them to mold the Play-Doh compound into the shape of the letters. It's an effective way to foster speech and even writing.
Ram trucks are reaching new heights when it comes to capability and efficiency. The Ram Heavy Duty is the most capable full-size pickup on the road today. And the Ram 1500 is the most fuel-efficient full-size pickup ever. So what does that mean? It means Ram trucks are built for the long haul. Ram, America's longest-lasting pickups.
RootMetrics, in the nation's largest independent study, tested wireless performance across the country. Verizon won big with 153 state wins. AT&T got 38, Sprint got 2, and T-Mobile got 0. Verizon also won first in the U.S. for data, call speed, and reliability. AT&T got text. Stuck on an average network? Join Verizon, and we'll cover your cost to switch.
Tell me, do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get what we deserve.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show.
Radio Show.
And where down we go.
All right, so welcome back to the show. We're talking about California, also Nashville, Memphis, Arizona. Man, the face of the nation has changed in the cannabis arena. Talking to Wendy on the phone. Welcome back, Wendy.
Hi, everyone.
So, we were talking about the structure. Why? I already kind of explained this to the audience, but I put them all on hold for you, Wendy, just for you.
Yay.
So in California, they've got a problem now because they've got the same problem that that Oregon and Washington had, where there's no revenue coming in the retail market. There's no excise tax. They're not getting that lucrative upcharge on the retail adult market they've been promised as long as people have easy access to that damn medical market. So in an effort to gain control of that revenue again, they shut down the medical system. And I think that throws patients completely under the bus. Now, to California's credit, they tried to address this situation, but they left out a critical feature. Because both of these, in these other two states, they didn't have the system always created by a lot of this was done legislatively, right? Wasn't done by referendum in these other states, these other legal states.
They were going to get it right with the law by letting their legislators do it.
That's what it was. And so the legislature had the opportunity to take the hindsight of the situation and kind of preload it for success. So in other words, they saw this problem coming. And when it started to become realized, they made changes. They went in legislatively and changed it. Said we're gonna tear this down, the medical system down. This is how we're fixing the problem, and they did. But again, it threw patients under the bus. They're fixed through patients under the bus because they got to pay the retail price now, and
taxes too, right?
Well,
don't they have to still pay taxes on it?
That's what I'm saying. They're paying that retail price, including the taxes.
There's a retail price plus tax on what it should be medicine. We don't get taxes on, our other stuff we get at Rite Aid. They don't tax my thyroid medicine or any of the opioids I would want to use.
They don't tax your food either.
Well, they shouldn't tax it in a medical marijuana market. If you want to treat it as recreational and say, look, we're going to treat this like alcohol, like a lot of people sell it as, that's fine. That's recreational, although I do consider all cannabis to be medical. But, and that being said, if you're a medical card holder, I do not think you should have to pay a tax to the state to use a healing plant. That should be your right. You've already been authorized. The state doesn't need their take. They're making plenty of money on their recreational and in other avenues. Let alcohol pay those taxes. We don't need to do it when it's a medicine.
I completely agree with you. That's what I'm saying when patients are getting thrown under the bus. The legislative fix to this was to throw patients under the bus because it was the path of least resistance.
And it feeds the prison system. So if people can mess up and we can find a way to also punish them and make money off them that way, that's even doubly convenient.
No, it doesn't feed the prison system. There's no prisoners being fed there. They're just paying a higher rate.
There is in our system in Michigan.
Well, but we're not talking about our system right now, Wendy. We're talking about California, right?
You don't think that applies to California. You don't think that if they don't mess up somehow, that there's going to be some sort of punishment. Is that completely different now? Because I don't know. They always change their mind. They legalize something and then they really don't. So explain it to me, Steve.
No, I'm saying you want to inflict Michigan on this question, and I'm saying it's not.
Okay, I'll keep Michigan out of it. You don't think? Just tell me they're going to stop imprisoning people for this, or is there still going to be ways to make sure when you use a plant, it's illegal that somehow you get that in?
Again, are you asking about Michigan or Oregon or Washington or California?
I said California twice,
Okay,
California.
So in California, there's no prisoners going out. There's not. This has all been legalized. We're not talking about a black market system here. We're talking about
Okay, all right. Maybe I got off track. Let's get back on track. So California.
So what the problem is that if you're a medical patient and you're forced to go into a retail market like you did in Oregon and Washington, so you're going in there and you're a medical patient now, and you're getting it at a price that's designed for medical patients. It's not abundantly taxed, although they did manage to work a tax in there somewhere. And everybody's happy, right? That's being produced from the medical standpoint. The product itself is designed for medical use. It's been built for the purpose of medical use. Whereas the retail market, it has nothing to do with medicine. This is just about pleasure. So they're going to appeal to
in their eyes.
No, not in anybody's eyes. This is the reality of it. They're not.
I don't think that marijuana is just built for pleasure just because you want to put a label on it.
Okay,
and
but
say that's recreational.
you're making an emotional argument about a point I'm not trying to discuss.
Okay, let's discuss your point, and I'll just listen.
What I'm trying to say is, no, I want your opinion, but I want your opinion about the point.
Obviously not. Obviously not, because if I go in a different direction, it's because I don't know what you're going to say from 1 minute to the next, but I'm just giving points along the way that there's things that they screwed up.
The point is that here's what I'm trying to drive with the point right now. The place where I'm at right now, this is if you're producing marijuana from a recreational standpoint, medicine's not a question when you're producing. You're not worried about somebody's illness. You're not worried about somebody's disease. You're not worried about medical efficacy. None of these things are in your mind because you're not selling to that marketplace. You're selling to people who are after pleasure. So you're going to appeal to their senses. You're going to appeal to their high. You're going to appeal to their sense of smell. You're going to appeal to their sense of taste and packaging. That's what those pleasure centers are going to be driven in the marketplace. Nobody's producing this to make sure that you're not having a seizure. Nobody's making this to make sure that you're not throwing up. I'm sure you can find something in the adult marketplace that might help one of those things, but nobody's making it for you anymore. So from a production standpoint, do you see what I'm saying? How you were a little bit off point?
Well, that's what we fear in Michigan, is that they're going to drown out the caregiver system by bringing in this new dispensary system.
No, I don't want to talk. I'm not talking about Michigan. You're back into Michigan again. We're talking about the retail. Oh, my God. Wow. Boy, she's a hot button topic. Wendy, she got all mad because she wanted to talk about Michigan. I don't understand. Wow. All right. Well, she'll call back when she gets it figured out. But I don't think she's going to tune in now because she's all mad. So the point is, she had to say Michigan again. It's so hard to keep people on focus. So back to the point. I'm kind of explaining this. So if you're making the marijuana, if you're producing the cannabis for a medical market, it's being driven by your need. It's being driven by the purchaser at the other end. It's being produced for you. But the people it's being produced for changes when you strip out the medical question and only leave it to a recreational market and the upcharge that comes with it. And that's what I mean by throwing patients under the bus. Oh, boy. Salty girl tonight. Calm down, Wendy. It's okay. We're just talking about a little cannabis. I don't think I've ever had anybody hang up on the show before. Nobody's ever called and got mad and then hung up. Did that happen before? I don't think it happened before. So you got a first on us, Wendy. Don't be upset because I've called and hung up before too. I might do it right now because I'm so mad. I'm just gonna call myself and hang up. So because I'm gonna argue with myself is what I'm gonna do. You ever done that? Had an argument with yourself? I do it all the time. Look, in pondering these questions, in vetting this material out for you, there is a lot of kicking around that goes on ahead of time. The Miami Herald. So you get the Florida question. We were talking about this earlier. So I'll leave this in and then we'll come back after the break and kind of pick up on this. Real estate speculators stake out territories for what's to come. Infrastructure builders and lawyers queue up for businesses. Investors jostle to get on the ground floor, and tech startups seek ways to make new industry run more efficiently. It is the big specter of the free market economy in the United States of America, isn't it? The fact of the matter is, this could be any nascent industry. But in this case, it's marijuana. It's cannabis. It's the business of ganja. After graduating from Yale, Steve Burke played professional tennis. Then after a career-ending injury, he became a medical marijuana patient. That led him to be a marijuana activist. And he ran for mayor of Miami Beach twice on a marijuana legalization platform. After the second election loss in 2013, marijuana companies had seen social media campaign, had seen it, and were reaching out to him to plug them into videos. That's when I realized there was no way for these companies to connect with consumers, said Burke. And he turned to entrepreneurship to find a solution. Wow. Today, Burke is 35, the CEO of Bang Holdings of North Miami Beach, which has a subsidiary that provides brand management, cannabis-related digital content, and social influencer-based marketing for the cannabis industry. Oh, we got to talk to these guys. Might even have to make him a guest on the program. We'll be right back with more following these messages.
You're getting the full melt.
And now, a Planet Green Trees flashback.
When do medibles have to be tested too? Is that also part of the caregiver?
Nope, that's only for the.
Will they have to be tested?
It's only for the dispensaries.
But there is a new restriction with respect to medibles in that patients can only make them for themselves.
Right.
And they've created new crimes for transfers outside of the caregiver.
They're very specific. But, I mean, it's not.
That's what we just talked about.
It's no more harsh than the manufacturer.
No. They can be transferred. The medibles can be transferred from the registered caregiver to the registered patient, but not beyond. And that's how they would expect you to interpret the law.
Don't miss the Planet Green Trees Show, Thursdays at 8 Eastern on Spreaker. Promotional consideration provided by NoSmell.com, pioneering the storage market for cannabis users. The NoSmell patented bag technology offers users 100% smell-proof detection from even the most sophisticated of noses. NoSmell.com, so nobody knows. When placing your order for a No-Smell bag, make sure to use discount code FULLMELT and take 10% off the entire order. Learn more about No-Smell technology at NoSmell.com.
Don't stop chasing wonder while the day brings up it. We'll see the sunset coasting by the ocean with some music. Turn it up, we got the whole night. 360 days of this. All I'm talking wide. The memories will make you right. That always make you smile.
Happiness is calling at sandiego.org.
When you need legal help, you don't want to guess at who's standing next to you in court. And when it comes to a medical marijuana defense, it's even smarter to partner with a lawyer before you need one. Based in Royal Oak, David Rudoy has a proven history of not being afraid to take your case all the way to the Supreme Court and win. Find the law offices of Rudoy Law
at RudoyLaw.com.
RudoyLaw.com is a quick reference on your rights concerning Michigan medical marijuana
and up-to-date news.
That's RUDOI Law.com. Call 248-935-9074 now and talk about your legal needs, because at RudoyLaw.com, we don't just stand up for you, we stand up with you.
My moderate to severe chronic plaque psoriasis made a simple trip to the grocery store anything but simple. So I had an important conversation with my dermatologist about Humira. He explained that Humira works inside my body to target and help block a specific source of inflammation that contributes to my symptoms. In clinical trials, most adults taking Humira were clear or almost clear, and many saw 75% and even 90% clearance in just 4 months.
Humira can lower your ability to fight infections, including tuberculosis. Serious, sometimes fatal infections and cancers, including lymphoma, have happened, as have blood, liver, and nervous system problems, serious allergic reactions, and new or worsening heart failure. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you've been to areas where certain fungal infections are common, and if you've had TB, hepatitis B, are prone to infections, or have flu-like symptoms or sores. Don't start Humira if you have an infection.
Ask about Humira, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists. Clearer skin is possible.
It's the Full Melt Radio Show. You ever, there's an old commercial. It's a really old I don't remember how old it was. It's a Campbell's Soup commercial. In the Campbell's Soup commercial, it's just a white stage background. Like it's what they call a seamless background. It's all you can see behind everybody is white. It is an edgeless room. In other words, you can't see where the corners are. It's just a white background. They're standing on something white, and it just goes up behind them in white. But instead of somebody standing there, there's a ladder. I don't know why the ladder's there. I have no idea why the ladder's there. But there's somebody on a ladder. Oh, I know why they're on the ladder. Had something to do with something. I think there was something like, I don't know. It was almost like if you were in you go to the carnival and you're sitting in the water tank, the dunk tank. There was something with the dunk tank. I don't know why they were on the ladder. Anyways, there's somebody on a ladder, and they're asking the person on the ladder, and it's usually a kid. It's some kid. It's a Campbell's Soup commercial, remember? They asked the kid to describe chicken and stars soup without saying the word stars. And whatever, I don't know. I don't remember if they splashed soup on the kid. I don't remember what happened if you couldn't say it. Maybe there was a buzzer that buzzed. I don't remember. But the whole idea was Campbell's chicken and stars soup. But you can't say the word stars if you tell us about what do you think about Campbell's chicken and stars soup. So the same thing applies with Wendy. Wendy, are you there?
I'm here.
She's back.
I'm back. There was like a solar flare or something that happened. I think it was a supermoon.
Supermoon? So
it's one of those.
Can you comment on the California, Oregon, Washington question without saying the word Michigan?
Obviously not. I've got to get down to brass tacks. I'm not capable. No, I will try. I will try. So what do you want me to comment on?
So basically, you have to understand this, that this show started out as a Michigan show. And so I've been stepping on my own coattails, making sure that I don't make it just about Michigan. That this is a nationally subjected show. So I don't talk about anything on the show about Michigan. Oh. Wait a minute, about Michigan, unless and until it has national impact. So if something's going on here, if it has application somewhere else, I'll talk about it. But if I've also made an extended effort to talk about what's going on in other states. So because we talk about Michigan so much for the most part, all the rest of the time, if we're talking about something that's happening in another state, I try to leave Michigan out unless there's a relative connection.
I just got Michigan on my mind, but I'm going to try.
Okay. So you get the idea. We're already past that, by the way.
Yeah. We're over it.
No, I'm saying we're past that subject now. We're talking now about what's going on in Florida. So,
wow. We switched to Florida. Okay. I'm ready for that one, too.
All right. So this time you got to stay on the line long enough to hear the story. And
flares.
You know what? Technically, we've only got a few minutes left on the radio anyways. So there's a guy there in Florida. The story in the Miami Herald talks about, how medical marijuana looks like a cash crop to Miami entrepreneurs. Now, there's this guy that ran for mayor of North Miami Beach. Actually, not North Miami Beach, just Miami Beach. Ran for mayor of Miami Beach.
I think it's North, the young kid.
No,
right?
No. Well, he's a younger guy, but his name is Steve Burke.
Yeah.
His name is Steve
Burke.
Burke.
I know who he is.
His name is Steve Burke. He had a career-ending injury in professional tennis, became a medical marijuana patient, and that led him to be an activist, and then he ran for mayor of Miami Beach twice on a marijuana legalization platform. And after the election loss in 2013, marijuana companies had seen his social media campaign and were reaching out to him to plug them into videos. So he said, that's when I realized there was no way for these companies to connect with consumers, said Burke, and he turned to entrepreneurship to find a solution. So now, he said, when one of his activist YouTube videos did not truly go viral despite pickups on BuzzFeed, Upworthy, NBC, and other sites, the YouTube enthusiasts learned that Facebook's algorithms suppressed it. He thought that the cannabis industry needed a different way of marketing. I've been on a very organic journey to a leadership role in the cannabis business community, he says. So today, Burke, 35, is CEO of Bang Holdings of North Miami Beach, which has a subsidiary that provides brand management, cannabis-related digital content, and social influencer-based marketing for the cannabis industry. Wow. While major media providers restrict online marijuana advertising, Bang's marketing networks allow cannabis companies to directly reach consumers. Today, Bang runs one of the top 2 or 3 cannabis-related Facebook pages, as well as sites on Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube. From growers, dispensaries, and product makers to software developers and the Tinder for the tokers, entrepreneurs like Burke are taming the wild, wild west of pot. So this is in Florida, where the medical market is expected to hit $193 million in 2018 when the law is fully in effect, and then is estimated to take off, growing to $1.6 billion in annual sales by 2020. That's according to ArcView. So these guys are loading their barrels in the tech sector, in the advertising sector. Very smart move by this guy who originally was a professional tennis player and then became a mayor of a local city and now an entrepreneur in the pot industry when it's just taking off in Florida. You see what he did there? He took advantage of a national stage just because marijuana was illegal in Florida, even probably while he was working through all of this marketing thing. Because he's right. Facebook does suppress this stuff. If you have a cannabis-related show like this one and you advertise it on Facebook, it gets fewer. First off, they won't advertise it outright. They won't. You can't pay to advertise this show on Facebook. They won't do it. And if you just put posts up about it, as soon as it says cannabis or marijuana, it gets suppressed in the Facebook algorithm. So this guy's found a smart place.
Well, I heard about him, and I tried to look up on him recently because I love his videos. They're really good. They're funny. He uses, Macklemore videos and makes it his own. But I couldn't find out whether he actually had won the election or not, so I'm glad to hear that he did.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a second. Yeah, that's not the same guy.
Yes, it is. Steve Burke. He does this Macklemore parody, going to the pot shop.
So it's the same. It's the same guy. It is.
Yeah.
It is the same guy.
Right, and it's hilarious.
So,
and I was just recently going, whatever happened to him?
It's not just Macklemore. I mean, he did Eminem and Rihanna.
Yes, yeah, lots of funny stuff. It's good. He's very pro cannabis, of course, and his videos have been out for a couple years, and I heard about him running, but I just never heard if he won, and I couldn't even find it on the internet. So what the heck?
We got to get him on.
Yeah, he'll come on, I'm sure. He's cool sounding. He's
got to get him on the show. There's just no question about it.
He can do it.
Well,
yeah.
So at the end of the day, this whole thing with the because you were off the line, we're getting ready to end the show. So if you got to say goodbye before the music kicks in, now's the time because it's coming.
Goodbye.
The whole thing there in California, the point that I was driving home, the point that I was making is that the producers of marijuana for medicine, they change when the customer changes. If they're changing to just a retail cannabis, nobody's making medicine to keep you from having an epileptic fit anymore. They're now appealing to different senses and different reasons, so the market's being driven by a different consumer, and that's a losing proposition for medical patients, both in cost and in way of provisioning. So I just that was the ultimate point that I was trying to make. Wendy, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.
The Full Melt Show is a production of TFM Media.